Good afternoon, and welcome to Real Estate Talk with Lisa. If you're here in the DMV because we're a local show, you know it's a little slushy outside, but we're warm in here. We changed our time a little bit this week to accommodate for the weather to make sure that we could get the information to you today. So we want to thank you for joining us. I'm your host. I'm Lisa Jeffrey, realtor here in the DMV. And I'm the host of Real Estate Talk with Lisa, which if you're watching us live, you're watching on WBGR's Wellness Network. And my co-host today, guest, is Mr. Reginald Derrickson Sr. He is a mortgage banker with O-Line Bank. You want to greet them?
Hello. It's great being back.
Yes,
Thank you for having me again.
Oh, definitely. You know, whenever Reggie comes, he always comes with a bag of tricks, bag of information, you know. So it's really not tricks, it's always treats, and it's always things that we can use. So we're going to get into his piece in a little bit. We got a special call-in guest that's going to reach out to us. So wherever we may be, where we're talking, we're going to take a break there and greet her and give you some more information. Just wanted to give you a little bit of housekeeping. We are aired live on WBGR's Wellness Network. You can always find the recap of the show on Facebook or YouTube because we have our own page, Real Estate Talk with Lisa. You can also find us on Roku and Amazon Fire Stick and WBGR TV starting in February. So check it out, Reggie. People are going to be able to sit in their living room, hit that remote, and see us.
Awesome.
And see the information that we have been presenting to you. So we're really excited about that. You know, we did some, if you were with us last season, we did some short segments, but now we're going to be able to give that to you straightforward, and we'll let you know as soon as we're live on that. But that's something you can anticipate because I know some people may not be on social media at all. And so just wanted to let you know that that's going to be available to you. Now, without further ado, I'm going to take my first guest, and this is Miss Sylvia Cyrus. She is the director of ASALH. ASALH stands for the Association for the Study of African American Life and History. It is Carter G. Woodson's signature work, and he, of course, is the father of first African American History Week, and then African American History Month. And they have a big event every February, and she's going to share something with us. Good morning, or really good afternoon. Sylvia, how are you?
Fine, and yourself?
I'm doing wonderful. I just introduced you to our audience and gave them the name of the organization and the roots behind that, but I didn't steal any of your thunder. So please, please share with the audience about the exciting event that you have coming up for us in February.
Fabulous. Well, I just want to thank you for this opportunity, and for your listeners out there. Now that you know that Black History Month was actually a product of Black people, that it was not them giving us Black History Month, it was Dr. Carter G. Woodson, the founder of the Association for the Study of African American Life and History, who started this commemoration with Negro History Week, which was the week that I'm sorry, with the snow and everything, my tongue is tied. But
it's okay.
Frederick Douglass's birthday and Abraham Lincoln's birthday in February, that week was Negro History Week. Mm-hmm. And it was this association, the Association for the Study of African American Life and History, that went to the world in 1976 and declared this commemoration would be the entire month, Black History Month. Okay. So to celebrate that event, and to celebrate Black history 365 days a year, which I'm sure most of your listeners do, not just in the month of February.
That's right.
We set a Black history theme. And this year's theme touches so many of your audience, I'm sure most of them, because it is Black migration.
Yes.
And so we're talking about our people who were rooted in the South, from the Caribbean, even that forced migration that came from Africa,
Yes.
that we moved all over this country, sharing and spreading our culture,
That's
going
right.
to different places for work and to get away from bad conditions and other things. So we are going to be exploring that topic, Black migrations, through the entire year. But this month, there are a couple of activities that we know that your listeners would be very interested in. And one of them is our Black History Luncheon, the 93rd Annual Black History Luncheon, which will be held on Saturday, February the 16th from 12 to 3 p.m.
Okay.
It's a wonderful event. We will have a panel discussion that is going to be extremely exciting. We have some individuals who your listeners may be familiar with, starting with Darren Haynes, an Emmy Award-winning sports anchor here in this area. He'll be the MC.
Okay.
And Jelani Cobb, who's on MSNBC and is really a Black Lives Matter expert and activist from Columbia University, will be moderating the panel. Tiffany Gill, an associate professor of Africana Studies at the University of Delaware, a great scholar and great speaker, will give us the occasion. And then there's going to be this great panel with Derek Musgrove from the University of Maryland, Baltimore County, Gloria Brown Marshall, who's is from the John Jay College of Criminal Justice in New York, and our own Kojo Nnamdi, right here from NPR. Those three are going to have a panel and discuss and explore this theme, Black migrations. So we know you want to be there, and in order to get tickets for this event, you simply need go to our website at, get your pen out,
That's right.
www.asalh.org, like Alpha Sam Alpha, African American Life and History, Study A. So asalh.org. We still have tickets that are available. You can purchase them online. You don't even have to log in. You just go to the website, go to the luncheon page, and it's going to be a wonderful event where 1,000 people will get together and celebrate our history on February the 16th at the Washington Renaissance Hotel at 999 9th Street Northwest in Washington, D.C. There's a metro station that's not very far, so you don't even have to bring your car downtown. We're right across from the convention center. It's going to be a great event. And if you get there early, and I encourage that you do, from 10 to 12, there will be an author's book signing. And we will have over 40 authors who will be selling and signing their books. So if you want the free and open to the public part of our event, come on down between 10 and 12, meet the authors. If you've ever been interested in writing a book, you may want to come down and talk to some folks about their journey in writing a book. But it's just a great way to celebrate Black History Month. So be with ASALH, the Association for the Study of African American Life and History, the founders of Black History Month. Be with us on Saturday, February the 16th, for a great celebration as we explore Black migrations. Come on down and tell us how your family came from Alabama up to Chicago, how you ended up in D.C.
Georgia.
These are some great stories that we want to share with each other, and you can go right to our website at www.asalh.org, purchase your tickets, and we would love to have you.
Excellent. Sylvia, I want to say, and I was just sharing with my guest, Reggie, I was whispering, but I was really whispering low. But I did attend on last year. I volunteered for the first time in the authors event, and I had such a wonderful time, and it was just so great to see everyone there. And I often say on my show that Black history is American history. You can't, we have to separate it out just because it hasn't fully been acknowledged, textbook-wise, classroom-wise. But there is no American history apart from Black history.
You're absolutely correct.
We're just so intertwined, and I feel that whether you're African American or non-African American, to understand our country better. You need to take part in events like this so you can learn. And especially if you are African American, it's important to know who you are. And who you are didn't happen in the past 20 years, the past 40 years. We have a long, rich history. And so understanding how we've come to this point is, I think, an integral part to learn, how to move forward. So I do appreciate what you and the organization has been presenting, not even in your big event, but throughout the year. And I intend to be volunteering at the Authors Pavilion, Authors tables this year, and getting to interact and see all of the people come by, and they're dressed so beautifully. And just to see the interest that was there. It was such a full house last year, and I know we're expecting the same thing this year. So everyone, she gave you the information. Please feel free. You got enough time to get things together and put it on your calendar, and come on out and be a part of the continuing African American history.
Right. And if you don't mind, if I could just give the phone number to our office.
Certainly.
Is 202-238-5912. Again, 202-238-5912. And just as you have volunteered, you can use that number to call and order your tickets or your tables. Mm-hmm. But we do still have a few spaces for individuals who might be interested in coming out on the 16th to volunteer. We have a volunteer orientation on Saturday, January the 9th at the Renaissance Hotel at 12 o'clock noon. So if you're interested in volunteering, give us a call so we can prepare for you, because it's really going to be a great event, as you said. And even if you want to come on down for our author's book signing between 10 and 12, this is a great opportunity to bring young people so that they can see how much history is still being written. And we need your story so that the historians can write stories that include you as well. So please come on down. We would love to have you. And ASALH is a membership organization.
Yes.
So you can also go to our website and join this organization and take advantage of the advantages to be a member. We have a conference in October that's going to be in Charleston, South Carolina, which is going to be wonderful. So there's a lot of great things that you can do connecting with some of our local branches here in the Washington, D.C. area. We have quite a few. And then just the whole world experience of being an ASALH member. So everybody needs to be connected to our history through ASALH.
Right. Well, thank you again so much for joining and sharing. And I look forward to seeing you at the volunteer orientation. And we'll continue to keep this event in front of people. And you have a safe evening.
You too. Thank you so much.
Excuse me. Y'all know this is real live stuff, so no fake. Oh, bless you. So that was Sylvia, though, Cyrus, the executive director of ASALH, just sharing with us about a wonderful event. I'm telling you, like I was saying, Reggie, it was just the panel last year was excellent. I'm sure it's going to be great this year. Just the ambiance of so many African American authors tracing their genealogies, tracing different areas of interest. And it was really, really great, really well done, a well put on event. So do take advantage of that. Well, today our title is Homebuyers Boot Camp Remix. So what's that mean? Well, if you've been looking, we've got pictures of, we told you the first show of the season, the Reggie and I, an Old Lion Bank, Real Estate Talk with Lisa, we're going to host Homebuyers Boot Camp. And true to our word, we did probably about a couple of weeks of promo, and we said we're just going to dive in because it's the beginning of the year, and we wanted to make sure you knew right up front where the money is. And so we met at Reggie's office on Saturday from 10 to 12, and we had a really, really great group of attendees.
We did.
Look at them. There they are. See, everybody's attentive. I'm over here. You can't see me. But look, everybody's like focused. I was focused. I was smiling, but I was focused. I was focused, y'all. Okay? And we're all like looking at Reggie like, really, you do say? So, I mean, I'm telling you, everybody was engaged, and it just really made for a nice event. What were some of the comments people gave you in terms of the event?
Well, some of the comments, and it actually went back to questions. You know, the questions, a lot of the individuals had specific, situations. And
Yes.
it was incredible because, I mean, I've been a part of workshops, first-time homebuyer workshops, where there's been a couple hundred people or more, and it wasn't really personal.
Right.
This was one time where, I kind of went off with a group feeling. They wanted
Right.
to roll their sleeves up, and
Yes, you
and
see everybody got their papers out, because we were all like,
we dove in, because a lot of times, when you're talking about, hey, we're going to give you information, we did it. We had a packet.
yes.
We gave them the information, and that's where it starts. A lot of individuals want to know about grants and different things, and first they got to find out where they're going to receive it from. So
That's right.
we gave it to them.
That's right.
The other part is understanding it, and that's where
Yes.
I had fun just kind of breaking it down. I mean, we
right.
based on the questions specific to each individual.
That's right.
It's like, well, if I go with a condo, if I don't go with a condo, and
That's right.
and I had to let them know that, hey, you're going to be approved, and then the condominium has to be approved. So
That's right.
it was just
Yeah.
funny how they didn't understand that, hey, it's a process.
That's right.
We
That's
have
right.
to go through and figure out where you fit, and that's where the questions came in. And I really enjoyed hearing the various specific questions, and I had a chance to, just kind of dig in and answer those questions. And then the next question came, and it was really great. We went over all the material we needed to go over.
That's right.
We explained it, and then the next step is really having the right team.
Yes,
Lisa,
that's true.
myself, communicating with you,
That's right. That's
so this
exactly
way we
right.
can execute it, and that's
get
where
you
it all
and get you
comes
where
in.
you need to be.
Where you
And
need to be.
I
Exactly.
will say this: everyone felt comfortable. I had some folks say because of either work conflict, health conflict, couldn't make it. And one of the nicest compliments that I saw was one of our attendees was replying, because we had posted it on Facebook, some of the pictures. And so one person said, I'm going to definitely make it the next time. And the other person said, you really should. It was great. And she said, I love the idea of actually being able to sit down with the real loan officer and ask questions. I called Reggie and told him that because it meant so much. It doesn't mean if our little group looks a little bigger the next time that you won't still have that same opportunity. But it was really that kind of atmosphere. It was the kind of atmosphere where, everybody had their papers out, and they asked about, okay, well, is there an income requirement here? Or what's the difference between this level of the grant and that level of the grant? And we were able, Reggie was able to tell them, well, this is what you need for this grant. Well, I got student loans. How can I have those counted? What percentage? Well, they're deferred. He would say, well, if they're deferred, he could give them the different individual pieces. And then people, so one person, well, to add to her question, my question is, and so that was great. We had other people in attendance, that like the lovely Tanya Blake. She couldn't be with us today. We're gonna have her on another show, but Tanya has a program where it has like a rent to purchase type option where she works with people to get them ready to purchase and then helps launch them out. And, so she does individual work, but she was looking at the programs that Reggie offers, and she was saying these would be ideal for the people that I'm working with, because now I can show them, say, if you follow these instructions, it will position you to now be able to take advantage of this.
Absolutely. And one of the challenges I took on, which was a fun challenge, when one of the clients, one of the attendees said, hey, look, how much would I need for closing if I'm trying to purchase a particular price
That's right.
home?
That's
And pulled out my blank piece of paper, my
Yes,
calculator.
you all, pencil, paper, and a calculator.
Oh, yes.
He walks. He's a big man. He walks softly and carries a big calculator. Reggie was like, "Okay."
I had to make sure I could see the keys.
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
All right. And then we got to add the Got your property taxes. Okay. Well, you know what the HO? Okay. Condo fee. I mean, he was working it, but it was good because people were writing down the numbers. So it was like we were really getting into
Yes.
the heart of the information, and that's the most important thing. The theme of our show is opening the door with keys of independence, and that's been our theme, since we started. And so the three words we use is educate, empower, and motivate to action. And so what we had said when we started was that we want you to either leave with a plan or we want you to leave with an approval. The underwriter was there. He came in, introduced himself to the group,
Yes,
passed out his cards, and told them that if they ever had any questions about underwriting or how it works, to call him. Now, even if you're a realtor, okay, even if you're a realtor, how many times have you been able to get the number of the underwriter? You got to call a loan officer, and the loan officer said, well, it's in underwriting. Well, you told me that Monday, Bill. It's Friday. I know, but I think they've been overworked. I did send the email up, and I am waiting to hear back from the underwriter. But I haven't heard anything. Or can I call? No, you can't really speak to the underwriter. But Reggie speaks to the underwriters all the time because he just goes over a couple of offices.
As I mentioned before, right in Bowie, where we're located, we have all the decision making, the processing, the funding, right there in our office for all 38 of our branches. And that's the great thing. I mean, we have an open door policy, so it was just amazing seeing our senior underwriter come in, because we have a number of underwriters, and our senior underwriter attended the event, and it was great, where he was just like it is during the day. During the day, everyone has an open door policy, and you're looking at his office, it's like 3 doors down from mine, and there's no problem for me to go in and run something by him. And that's how we are at O-Line.
And what type of bank is O-Line?
O-Line Bank is a community bank. As I mentioned before, the great thing is not only do we have all the marketables, the FHA, the VA, Fannie Mae, Freddie Mac, USDA, but we also have our own portfolio products. We're one of the few that does the lot loans. We have a great, fantastic construction perm product.
Okay.
So we have a lot of fantastic products. But one key element that really got my attention when I decided to join O-Line Bank, and that was the community programs and products. So when I mentioned before, federal grant programs, state grant programs, county, local. So we pretty much have access to it all. Some lenders may have, certain aspects of it, but we're able to layer them. And that was one of the fun examples that we used when we were in the boot camp, breaking down how much the down payment would be, how much their portion of closing costs based on how they negotiate with the seller.
That's right.
Then we subtracted the grants. And it was funny because when I came down to that number and I started subtracting, I think we used a state program and a federal program. One time I used a county program and a federal program. And seeing those numbers go down from having 3% or 3.5% down payment plus their portion of closing, and seeing that number drop to around 5,000 or less. I mean, that was unbelievable. But also, I did mention that, hey, don't give me a contract where the numbers change, where your negotiations change. So instead of splitting transfer tax and getting 3% closing help, you come back with splitting transfer within 1%, because now we have to add some more numbers, to it. But that's all about the communication, and that's why I mentioned a moment ago, you need to get the information. You need to make sure you have someone that can explain it where you understand the information. There's so many times where someone tells me, send it to me. And I'm just like, okay.
Because then once they get it, then they're like, well, what's it mean?
Yes.
So, and that's one thing that I know from my position, working with my clients, buyers or sellers, is making sure you understand the process.
Yes.
And I've explained it to you, and ask if you have any questions. And one thing that we were able to describe with the client's permission was an ongoing transaction where we were able to, leap over a tall building in a single bound.
Yes.
We were looking at a condo, which if you are a seller and you own a condo where it's become non-FHA approved, or it's not FHA approved, which means that buyers that have the loans with the lowest down payment, 3.5% or a 3% conventional loan, cannot purchase your property because of the status of the condo project overall. You may despair of being able to ever sell it, period, to other than a lowball offer, because no one that wants it to live in can get the financing.
Yes, and that's the key. When you just mentioned lowball offer, you don't have to do that. There's a number of, you can say, families who can qualify.
That's right.
Okay, you don't necessarily have to always just sell it to the lowest price or the investor, and that's because we have a program where if the condominium does not pass, as Lisa mentioned, FHA, or doesn't pass the full condo questionnaire process, that more or less has a pretty intense
That's right.
package that's needed.
Yes.
There is a limited review, and yes, you won't qualify in those particular cases. Those borrowers will not qualify for the 3% for conventional or 3.5% FHA. But there is, instead of putting 20% down, or there's a 10% option, and that's
Yes.
the limited. But the great thing about it is this: even though you have 10% down, we were able to layer programs. We had
That's
the
right.
Prince George's County, right here in the county, has a program where they will utilize our limited review, and together, layering the Prince George's County with our loan with the 10% down, and also layering a federal FHLB grant program.
That's right.
We layered that.
Yeah.
And now you have individuals getting in with minimal out of pocket.
So you go from having, on let's say $103,000 condo, you go from having a $10,000 down payment, because that's 10%, and closing costs, because of the nature of the product, maybe running about $8,000, because 8%. So you're looking at about $18,000 potentially out of pocket, getting funds to help you to bring it down by $15,000
Or more.
or more. Who doesn't want that? Who don't want that?
So it's
And
almost it's
now we
equivalent.
clipping coupons for trying to get that dollar off. We're telling you that there are products available right now that can help you. And there may be some things that you have to fix. And we touched on that. Reggie touched on that. Talked about debt to income?
Just debt to income ratios, and that's
credit.
that's one of the great things, because with most of the programs, there is a minimum credit score.
Yes.
And in addition to that, there's a household income requirement. It's
Yes.
like a scale, depends on how many individuals are in the household. And then also, as Lisa just mentioned, debt to income ratio.
Yes.
So we're looking at all those options. When we give a letter, I always talked about there's two numbers
That's
that
right.
we focus on. Yes, we'll give you the estimated purchase price, but that housing payment is where we
That's right.
focus on, because that's what's going to make sure you're within your debt to income ratio. And that was one of the exercises we went over. We want to make sure that we're protecting your money, because
That's right.
sometimes you could buy or look at 3 homes all the same price,
That's right.
and they all have different payments, because
That's
on
right.
this particular property, the property taxes are higher. On this particular property, there's an HOA fee that's higher than the other, or the condo fee that's much higher than the other. So we want to make sure you're within that housing payment limit for your debt to income ratio. So this way, when you put that offer, we want to make sure that we're protecting that earnest money deposit.
That's right. And that's key, because you should be doing a budget when you're preparing to buy. So what your lender doesn't look at when he's looking at your debt to income, he's not looking at what your utility cost is going to be, what Maybe you have other things. Your child may be taking music lessons or some kind of sports activity. Your grocery bill, all of those, or your gas to go back and forth to work, or transportation, your smart trip card. I mean, let's be real. So he's not looking at those things, but you look at those, and you know what your payment amount. So don't look for an opportunity just to get a letter that says, okay, you're authorized to go out and spend 200,000. You need to know, well, what's that gonna cost me every month? Because that's the only way you can intelligently put it in your budget and make a good choice. So being able to give like a real life example of people that we're talking about, and being able to overcome that particular challenge for that person, and they were delighted. They just couldn't believe it. And we were going down, like, we had this chart just for the Maryland program. It was like line after line after line. I'm telling you, it's like little fine print. It wasn't big like this. It was like little lines. And each one of them was a program, and they had sections in which each section is a tier of a program. So you had like maybe 3 tiers under one section for that program. If you met this qualification, you get this. If you met that qualification, you would get this. So I mean, and that was just for one program. And then we moved on to some other ones. So the people were I'm just thankful. And so we did find, we're going to give you some more. We didn't give everything out then. We're going to give you some more. But before I say that, I did recognize that there were some people who have, either they work in the mornings on Saturdays, they have children and activities on Saturday mornings. And so, in consciousness of that, we're going to hold another Homebuyers Boot Camp. It is going to be February 23rd at O-Line Bank, 4201 Mitchellville Road, Suite 200 in Bowie, Maryland. Okay, it's going to be from 3 to 5. Okay, so in the afternoon. And we're going to post it. Should be on Eventbrite. I'm going to work on it this evening, so it should be on there tomorrow, where you'll be able to go ahead and reserve your spot. And so we just want to let you know that we heard the feedback that some people had given me and given Reggie in terms of having a time that will work better with their schedule. And it's just so important to us that you understand what you can do, that we're going to make that change.
Yes.
Yeah.
And
light refreshments. Don't come looking for steak and shrimp, because we're not going to have that. But we're going to take care of you real good, okay?
But one thing that was interesting, the group was very observant. And,
yes, that's true.
It was funny because I had put in 2, you could say, bonus programs into the packet that I didn't plan on reviewing.
Yes, yes.
And one of them was the DC Open Door program.
Yes.
And the other was a DC HPAP. And the great thing is, like I mentioned, we're a community bank, so we have access to all those programs.
Preferred lender.
Yes, it's funny because some, individuals go with lenders who might have, a few programs.
Yes.
But then if something happens, let's say if you decide to move, from, let's say, Maryland options to Washington, D.C. options, or the other.
Yes.
Start off with Washington, D.C. options and realize, you know what, I think there's some other better values in Maryland.
That's right.
And you still can get to work on time.
That's right.
And that's where with us, we can do them all. So you don't have to jump from one lender to the next. And, we really have fun. We really enjoy taking care of the community, helping home buyers. And I just look at it as a challenge to find a way to fit each individual into the right program. It's funny because even a few of the members, they came by and they said, "Hey, Reggie, what do you think I should go with?" I said,
"That's right.
I don't know. We are going to have to work together, communicate, sit down. Let me go through the evaluation, and then I'm going to give you options. And then at that point, we're going to." I'm going to then tell you, hey, look, based on what you told me, this is what works best.
That's right.
Based on your priorities.
Exactly.
So I enjoy the process, helping people get those keys, and Lisa
yes,
is the one that does handle
That's
the
the
key
best part, though. I mean, don't get me wrong. I love picking up my check, okay? But for the emotion, work with just the money is never enough. Otherwise, we all be a lot happier in our jobs, face it. But for me, that emotional piece of, the struggle they went through to get there, and they sacrificed, they got it all done. You might have had a slightly bumpy transaction, but you got it all done. And now, you can give them the keys and say, welcome to your new homeowner. That is to me, is nothing that can really replace that kind of satisfaction, and know that you have helped a family cross a threshold. When you have a first time home buyer, how people say, I'm a first generation U.S. born from an immigrant family and things like that. Yeah. It's just as important when you say, I'm the first home buyer in my family, to be able to have that and be able to make that happen. But you brought us some DC information today.
Yes.
Okay, what you got?
Well, the information is really, tied to the programs because with Washington, D.C. Open Doors, they have some below, market interest rates. It does work with both 3% conventional down programs and 3.5% FHA.
Okay.
One nice thing that they've also have that some borrowers may qualify for is down payment assistance. So now, can you imagine, it's almost like a zero down. We don't talk about it in that matter, but if they're able to obtain some of those assistance, now you don't have a down payment. Now you have to worry about your portion of closing based on how you negotiate with the seller.
That's right.
So
that's right.
It's a lot of great things there. There are some qualifying, just like everything, household size,
that's right.
Income levels, and also debt to income ratio. And also HPAP has some fantastic options where up to $80,000 that can go towards down payment.
Please say it again.
Up to $80,000. So now, if someone doesn't quite qualify for a particular home, now that potentially could be money to help reduce the loan amount.
See.
So
when you say reduce the loan amount, are you saying buying down that principal, like a principal reduction?
Yes. So it's almost like you taking $80,000 and putting it on the table, but it's not coming out your pocket directly.
So let's say you qualify for, say, a $200,000 house.
Yes.
But the house you really need to fit your family is like $280,000. But you got this $80,000. You can take that and put it toward the house and bring that loan down to $280,000 and then work with that amount that's within your means.
Correct.
All right.
So
now,
that's how we
I like that.
qualify it, and in most of those cases, you don't have to. It's zero interest, zero payment until you, in many cases, have to sell or refinance. One of the two. And one of the other great things, there's a number of individuals who work in, Washington D.C.
That's right.
And they may work for the government, and we've had a number of cases where we had individuals that worked for D.C. government. They were able to get funds, from the government.
Yes.
They was able to get grant money from the union. So we're here. Hey, if you can get the money and we can layer them, bring it.
And I want to mention something that I just thought about, that came up as a kind of question/comment during the boot camp. Someone asked about how many people could be in a transaction. And what he said was really enlightening, because he said, now the credit scores have to be what they are for all the people, but you can have more than just two people purchasing a property. So it could be a family affair.
Yes.
If you maybe you all have jobs that aren't, the job, but you've been working on your credit and your credit is looking good. You can combine those resources, those paychecks, and buy a family home. Something that's big enough to accommodate all of you that none of you could get on your own, and move forward, utilize these programs, and be able to purchase. And that's what we used to do.
Yes, and there was a number of cases where I've been working on in 2018, and also I'm working on a few new cases now where the son and daughter or son and daughter-in-law decided to purchase a home, but because the parents were, you could say, part of the family and watching the little ones most of the time anyway,
right,
they decided to purchase a larger home,
right,
where you combined everyone's income.
That's right.
Mother, father, daughter, son, and they were able to have a home that was situated such where it fit all. So that was a, those are some of the things I'm seeing now. Parents and families are pulling together.
That multi-generational household.
Yes.
And I think in light of what we've been seeing with respect to this recent furlough period and the uncertainty that people are feeling,
Yes.
I think having your own property is one way to feel secure, even though some people felt a little shaken because they were concerned about will they be able to make their mortgage payments and things like that. But the idea of buying together and pooling your resources now, I think is a much more option to be appreciated than maybe in the past. Before it's go up, move out, get your own. Go up, move out, and get your own. But a lot of us are finding that we're coming back home to take care of our aging parents.
Yes.
Or like you said, they may be caring for our children. And so why not make that decision, to make that investment?
Absolutely.
Yep. So, I want to encourage you all to reach out to us with respect to this next boot camp. We're going to be looking forward to seeing you there. I'd like for you to register on Eventbrite, and I'll let you know as soon as it's published. But it's going to have the same name. We're going to use the same flyer. We're just going to change the name and the date because I need to know a count, because I said light refreshments. And so, you don't want to be the only one there with this light and no refreshments. So, so I want to be able to provide with you. I want to share a couple of announcements as we head toward the the final section of our show. So a couple of things I want to share with you. I got all my notes here. One thing I do want to say is I have gotten a lot of compliments on this haircut, Reggie. And people at church are like your haircut. Random people in the store, I like your haircut. Well, I like my haircut too. And I just wanted to give just a shout and acknowledgement to my stylist, Sharonda Johnson. Now her salon is called Adnorah. That's ADNORAH''S. It's a little unique, just like her. And it's based at 15639 Emerald Way in the Bowie Town Center, Suite 31. And I'll be able to post her information on my page. You'll be able to find it. Her number is 202-465-5071. She offers a senior discount, 10% all the time. And for new clients, she's doing a special of 20% for your first visit, 20% discount. But I'll tell you why I like her. She's been doing my hair for a while. If you saw me last season, I was kind of growing it out. Then I was like, I kind of want to go back to this now. But I like her because she gives you what you ask for. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, I know you're not going for a cut now, Reggie, but have you ever been to a barber and you had an idea what you wanted to come out looking like, and that wasn't what happened? Right. People come, you go, and people give you what they want you to have. But I've sat with her. She's gotten to know me. She knows what the kind of look I'm going for. I can bring her a picture. We can talk about, if it would really work for me or wouldn't work, and what I could expect, And I appreciate that because I've been with stylists where I may give them the picture, a picture of me with the style, and they improvise. So that's not necessarily what I'm looking for. But I'm telling you, if you're looking for someone that will give good care for your hair, style, something beautiful for you that makes you look good and that you feel good about, give Sharonda a call. Tell her I sent you. She's a wonderful person. 202-465-5071. Now, we always talk about our rescue resources. And Reggie, this is another giveaway distribution for federal workers and families impacted by the government shutdown. Now, this is going, excuse me, I'm going to post this on my page, but I want to highlight that one of the spearheads for this is Cynthia Davis. Now, Cynthia is with Keller Williams Properties, and she just opened up her own little section called Closed and Sold Properties. And congratulations, Cynthia. I know her. She is a wonderful woman of God and a great great realtor. I tell you, she's a wonderful person. And so she's using both her business and her ministry along with the church that I attend, Evangel Assembly, C2EO, created to empower others. Keller Williams, the main company, Preferred Properties, and also SPJ Graphics, and Cynthia's own ministry, Rhema Word Ministries. They're going to be at Evangel Assembly this Saturday, February 2nd, from 11 a.m. to 3 p.m. Bring your ID. Nobody will be turned away. And while supplies last, it's first come, first serve. So please come out. I will post this on the page, but we love to see you to come out and participate. And we want to thank Cynthia for doing this for the community. She's community minded, both in her real estate business and in the other activities that she takes through her ministry and just as an individual. So I just wanted to make sure that we got the word out for that. And we also want to say thank you to Alicia Hurt and the Marino team who did a giveaway for Same Families last Friday. So Reggie, one of the things we had with our guests, we had Mr. Al Britton. And Al told me, he's in our pictures, but I said, Al, what you want to hear us talk about next? He said, well, could you talk about things to look for when you're getting a home? So this is Al, because we're going to talk about that before we leave. We're going to talk a little bit about that. Okay. And so because Al picked the topic, Al, we got this lovely, it's big too. I put a whole can of soup in here, Reggie. Old Line Bank mug. It's beautiful. Al, you get with me so we can come and pick this up, but this belongs to you. And just so you all out there don't feel left out, we got a few other things. We got umbrella. I feel like Vanna Black. Yes, here we are. The umbrella. Okay. And we also have a nice journal. Okay. With pen. So we have a few gifts for the first, let's say the first 3 people that sign up on Eventbrite. Once we get it up and going, the first 3 people that sign up, we're going to have a special gift for you.
Absolutely.
All right, we're going to cut to a quick break. We have another rescue resource, a local contractor who is still doing something for our federal workers. He knows, because we tried to run his commercial last week, and we had a little technical difficulty, and I called him. It's Anthony Lozado Jr. He's done work for other clients of mine. And I said, well, Anthony, they're going back to work. You're still offering this discount? And he said, yes. So I'm running his commercial now, and I hope that you will, those of you that need it, will be able to take advantage of what he's offering, and we'll be right back.
Hello, everyone. I'm Anthony with Lozado Contracting. I know a lot of you federal employees are going through a tough time with this government shutdown, and we're here to help. I'm offering a 40% discount for any home repairs you have at your home. Please feel free to give us a call, and we'll take care of you. Thank you.
All right, so we're back, and do reach out to Anthony. And of course, if you're not a federal employee or contractor, you still need work done, you can certainly give him a call. Tell him that you heard about him here on the show, and I'm sure he's going to take good care of you. One thing I did want to mention about Al, and I told him I was going to mention his business. Al Britton is actually, because I didn't know this till Reggie told me, that his business is tax and business strategies, and he's a tax attorney and a CPA. His office at 9701 Apollo Drive, Suite 293 in Largo, Maryland. And I have a number for him. And I didn't write it all down. I thought I had it here. Okay, here we go. Yes, I do. It's 301-772-6555. So give Al a call. It's tax season. And you know what Al told me? He is a former IRS employee. So, Al got the inside scoop. So I would say give him a call and see if he can help you with your tax strategies. He's, is attorney as well as a CPA, so that's kind of a double major there, where he can help you maybe take it a little further if you have a case or there's some legal proceedings with respect to those areas going on with you. Okay, so now what Al has said to talk about was some of the factors to look at, when we're looking to buy a house. And so I was doing my little research, and so I came up with a few factors. Now we know, your agent normally will talk to you about your, like the things in your contract, like your home inspection and things like that. But we're looking more like thinking about the location. Is the location where you want? Because location is what?
It's the key.
It's the key. It's everything. And so you want to look at that. And something I found from Inman, which is a company that does a lot of information for realtors, it says that there are 3 things that appraisers review. I did not know this. The exact things. They look at the quality of the local schools, the employment opportunities near the property, and the shopping, entertainment, and recreational centers when they're looking at it. Because sometimes people may ask me, say, well, I want to buy a property where I feel like the appraised value is going to go up. But, as an agent, we can't guarantee that for you. But if you yourself as a buyer are looking to buy something that you think is going to appreciate a little more quickly than another, then this is something you want to look at. And our second show with Reba, she was telling us that, one of the articles we were looking at, we were discussing how the quality of schools actually does raise home values.
Awesome. Absolutely.
And even if you're not a parent and don't have children, if that's what you're looking for, that's something to keep in mind. Now, Reggie, what kind of amenities do you find people normally looking for when they're buying property? Is it recreation, movies? Do you find a lot of people looking for, when they come in and talk to you about getting their loan, about what they want to live, what are they looking for?
Well, the interesting part is, and you're going to probably choke me for saying this.
No choking. It's nonviolence. Family programming.
When someone asks me about the amenities, then that's when I don't want to sound impersonal, but I focus on the numbers and percentages, because I have to stay in my lane, because you and all the other buyers, realtors, that's what they specialize in.
See, my specialty.
Okay. Oh yes, I can't be Lisa.
That's true, and that's why we do stay in our lanes. But what I do find is that people do want to be near shopping.
Yes.
And so one of the things to think about is if you needed something in the middle of the night, how far do you have to go to get it? What time does the store close in the area where you are?
Well, one thing that comes up, quite a bit, because there's a number of different options and loan programs, and we touched upon this a little bit. It's incredible, all the topics and things that we discussed. But there's cases where individuals can't get into particular neighborhoods for various reasons. One of the reasons could be, hey, there's no inventory.
That's true. That's a
but
big
sometimes
problem.
there could be reasons, could be that there's work that needs to be done to certain properties.
That's right.
And they don't know how to obtain those type of loans, the money in those type of loans. And you remember we went over, there were certain grants that we can use, that we can layer with the renovation loans, whether it's a FHA 203K, if it's the Fannie Mae Home Style, or we have our own construction perm portfolio product. So there's a lot of different items. So what I usually do is, and we had this discussion before, I said, look, I can work up numbers for you. I can give you all the information you need, so you know what's the payment, how much you need for closing at the settlement table. But all I need is the approximate acquisition price.
That's right.
What do you plan on offering?
Right.
If you have an idea of how much the repairs are going to be.
Yeah.
And then this is where I pick on Lisa and your
so
realtor.
How much you think is what are they trying to get done now?
Yeah.
Do you have a bid?
Yes. How much you think is going to be worth after the work is completed?
Correct.
So once I have that information, I can give you, like I said, the payment and the estimated amount of funds that you need for closing, in addition to, if there's any grant funds that will qualify that we can layer as well. So the boot camp is right up my alley.
That's right.
My mind, I'm constantly every day, going by scenarios, whether it's over the phone or face to face.
That's true.
I have fun educating to make sure everyone's on the same page.
That's right.
Because now that could be the difference between someone buying in a particular neighborhood or not. Getting closer to where those amenities are, because it's going to cost more. But
That's
now
right.
you can get in ideally below market. Now, some cases, that's why we give the information.
That's right.
And the numbers, so you can find out, are you at market, are you below market, are you going in with equity? A lot of times those
That's right.
individuals are going in with equity. But as you know, Lisa, sometimes there's cases where you don't mind going in without equity.
Because you got the location
Exactly.
and the amenities in the neighborhood that you want. Now, there's two things people always ask us about. One is about, is it a good neighborhood or a bad neighborhood? And they ask us about the schools. And we, as realtors, we're not allowed to really talk to you in terms of, is it good? It's a good or bad neighborhood. That's unethical for us. And so we don't give out crime information and or talk about the schools like, in that respect, or characterize the neighborhood. And I think that goes back to times when realtors kind of overstepped and were persuading certain people to stay out of certain neighborhoods by what they said and things like that. But I want you to know that do your homework. If you want to know about crime in an area, we have Google. All you got to do is say, where can I find crime statistics for Prince George's County? It will take you right there, D.C. And you'll be able to look at those and find out what's going on. I was checking out a couple of school sites in preparation for today's show. Most of the school sites, depending on your county, you can go right in and check their report card. And you can see exactly how they're performing. So, before you make your decision. So, your realtor will do all that's within their ability and responsibility, like many of us have on our web pages links to those sites. But some of those things we can't tell you, but you can get that information. Another important thing, because your office is in Bowie.
Yes.
And Bowie has undergone quite a bit of transformation, in a few years, and so and still things are coming, but that can affect your choice.
Yes, the great thing is there's a number of, you could say, options out there. And as we just mentioned, just think about it. That house that needed renovations, people weren't buying it. It was just sitting there.
It was just sitting there.
So look what happened. The renovation loan, one closing, allows the individual the funds to acquire the property,
That's right.
fix it up.
That's
so now
right.
within a reasonable amount of time, maybe 2-3 months, the home is ready.
That's right.
It's you have your new kitchen, you have all the cosmetic issues resolved with the painting and
That's
the
right.
flooring.
That's
okay,
right.
so now you just uplifted the community, and
You
and
have.
that's what,
That's true.
Yes.
That's true.
So now that those things you're talking about in terms of neighborhoods, now the neighborhoods I'm finding, and this is what I'm excited about. I'm finding that neighborhoods are looking a lot better, and
They are.
a lot better. There's been a lot of renovations, and I'm talking about existing properties.
Yes. Yes.
And one of it is, and there's a number of reasons why, and I'm glad that I'm a part of some of the reasons, and that's because we're a community bank.
That's right.
Reason why the federal FHLB Bank Board came up with some of the programs was to revitalize communities. So
That's
now
right.
you have not only low to moderate income, 50 to 80% of the you could say medium income, but now it's expanded. Some of the county programs are expanding the income levels. The state of Maryland went up to 125% of the medium income levels.
Yes, I saw those numbers, because before they were a little lower.
Yes, they were
But
lower.
now they're more favorable to you, so you may still be able to fit into that income bracket.
Yes.
Well, guys, we're getting ready to wind up. I think I have one or two more announcements to make. But before I do that, tell them how to reach you, Reggie.
You can reach me. I'm located in Bowie. 301-352-4458. That's my office number. We're located at 4201 Mitchellville Road, Suite 200, across the street from Kohl's, right off of Mitchellville Road. So that goes back to the amenities and shopping.
That's right. That's
near
right.
that Bowie-Town
That
Center
Bowie
area.
Town Center, yes, and there's some condo communities around there that might could use that slimline condo review that you have. I want to thank you all for tuning in. I want to make one last note. Evangel Assembly out at 5900 Old Branch Avenue is having a Valentine Ball on Friday the 15th from 7 to 11. Yours truly is emceeing. I will be the ambassador of love, okay? But it's going to be a great time. We're going to have red carpet. It's a black tie, 21 and up, pictures, dinner, games, activities, dancing. It's going to be a great time. So if you want to have a good time in a godly atmosphere, definitely mark your calendar for that. Tickets are $30 per person. So please give me a call at 301-542-5168 to get your tickets. I want to thank you so much for entertaining us this evening with your presence. And Reggie, I want to thank you so much for being so faithful to come by and share even additional information. Don't miss the next boot camp. And remember, I'll see you at the show.